Good afternoon, Primary 5. You're welcome to your English lesson class. Today, we are looking at the topic passive present simple. Passive present simple. In our previous English lesson, we saw the use of going to talk about future plans and arrangements. Future plans and arrangements, intentions or actions. So we saw how we use going to in English to talk about future plans and arrangements, intentions and actions. For instance, next year our class is going to adopt an animal from the zoo. Next year our class is going to adopt an animal from the zoo. Going to. Another one. Next year we are traveling to the United Kingdom. Next year we are going to travel to the United Kingdom. Next year we are going to travel to the United Kingdom. The girls are going to rehearse for the debate. The girls are going to rehearse for the debate. We also said we can use going to talk about observations, things that we observe. We observe, we judge, and we tell what is going to happen. For instance, it is going to rain. Judging from the atmosphere, we can say it is going to rain. The glass is going to fall. If a glass is not well placed on the table, maybe it is at the edge of the table, and with your observation, you can see that the glass is going to fall. You can make an observation by saying the glass is going to fall. Okay, shifting from that today, we are looking at the passive present simple. The passive present simple. The passive present simple. We use the passive present simple when we don't know the subject of a sentence. When we don't know the subject of a sentence, or we don't know who carries out an action, we use this passive simple present. We use the passive simple present. And what is the technique? We use the verb is or are plus the past participle of a verb plus the past participle of a verb. Let us take the first example. You are taken to a different time. You are taken to a different time. You can see are. The verb to take is a past participle, taken to a different time. Let us look at the second one. Computers are used all over the world. Computers are used all over the world. Food is found everywhere. You can see the verbs. They are in the past participle. We use are. You can see are here, the verb to be or is. So, this is how we use passive present simple. We also use the present simple passive to talk about things that are generally true. Things that are generally true. For instance, English is spoken in many different countries. English is spoken in many different countries. It's a reality, generally true. Cars are driven on roads. True, cars are driven on roads. General statements that are generally true. Statements that are generally true. Patients are admitted in hospitals. These are statements that are generally true. So we can use the present simple passive to talk about to make statements that are generally true. So let us see using the passive and the active voice. Using what? Passive and active voice. You remember when we first saw this subject, this topic, I told you that for you to change from active voice to passive voice, for you to change from an active voice to passive voice, or active sentence to passive sentence, you need to change the subject of a sentence that is active becomes a predicate, and the predicate becomes an object, and the object becomes the subject. What do I mean? If I say Paul wrote the song. This is an active sentence. Paul wrote the song. This is an active sentence. We are now going to change the subject Paul, and we now throw more importance to the song, the object, which is song. So we say the song was written by Paul. The song was written by Paul. This one now is in the passive voice. In the passive voice. I repeat. Paul wrote the song. Paul wrote the song. This is an active sentence. Paul is the subject. Song is the object. When we want to change this active sentence into a passive sentence, its subject will become the object and the object will become the subject. So we'll now say the song was written by Paul. Let us take the example on the chalkboard. The example on the chalkboard. People in costumes are greeted by visitors. People in costumes are greeted by visitors. That is an active sentence. When we want to take it into a passive form now, it is visitors are greeted by people in costumes. Visitors are greeted by people in costumes. When do we use the passive voice? We use the passive voice when the object of a sentence is more important than the subject. When the object of a sentence is more important than the subject. When the object of a sentence is more important than the subject. Let us take another example. Okay, if I say Susan painted the picture. Susan painted the picture. This is an active sentence because it begins with the subject, which is Susan, and ends with the picture, which is an object. But if we want to give more meaning to the object than the subject, we are now going to say the picture was painted by Susan. The picture was painted by Susan. So in effect, we use passive voice when we give more importance to the object of a sentence and not its subject. When we give more importance to the object of a sentence and not its subject. So this is how we use the passive simple, present simple, and this is how we use the passive voice when we want to lay emphasis on the object and not the subject of a sentence. Remember, we are revisiting passive and active voice. I have given you some exercises from page 105. You will do the exercises in your family and friends class book. Please endeavor to drop these books in school on Friday so that I can mark them for you. You collect them back maybe on Monday, and we continue to work online as usual. I miss you guys. Be serious with your good work. This is the third term, the most decisive term, because it combines the two previous terms. Make sure you prepare well, because third term exams are always difficult because they are a combination of the two previous terms with the last term. Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful time at home. If you have any questions, you can always contact me on my private WhatsApp so that we can share your worries and see how we can solve them. I really miss you. As you can see, I'm here all alone. Class is empty. Your seats are empty. I can't find you guys around, but we know the reason why we are not here. We pray things will soon come back to normal so that I meet you again face to face, one-on-one, and we get to study again. Love you guys. Ciao.